Yes, Brent, Irate Gamer here, and I'm super excited to be part of your second book. I'm very honored because I've got both of your Super Nintendo books, and they were just fantastic reads. I just loved them because you spent a lot of time on these, I can tell, being an author myself, but you dedicated a full page to every video game, and you included still shots, posters, history. So great job on that. I cannot wait for the NES books to come out because that's where my heart is. As if you've ever seen the Irate Gamer show, I mostly do Nintendo NES games because that's what I grew up with. That's where my heart lies. And I was actually one of the first people in my town to pick up an NES. I think I picked mine up in the fall of 1986. And by then they just bundled it with Super Mario Brothers, because back then they didn't package it with Super Mario Brothers. You had to buy it separately. So I think I was, and I can't remember if I had to buy it separately or if I bought it in a bundle, but either way, I remember telling people, I'm like, if you buy Nintendo, you've got to get Super Mario Brothers because it was a game changer. Now, you might be taking it for granted now, like people who weren't born back then, but when growing up in 1986, your whole frame of reference back then was the Atari. And I remember first playing Super Mario Brothers, and you had to really change your whole perspective and wrap your head around this thing. This game was set up in stages and levels, and it was the first one to really do it very well. And the game had Easter eggs, you can keep exploring and find new things. This just wasn't done in a video game, especially with Atari. And that's why video games were stuck in the video game crash back then, was because the innovation had kind of stalled out. So when the Nintendo came along, they threw games at us where you had to sit down and be like, you had to wrap your head around it like, okay, how do I play this one? I remember I played Legend of Zelda, and I played it for a week not knowing what the hell I was doing. You kept playing and playing, and you're like, hey, wait a minute, there's a dungeon here? Okay. Games were not set up that way. So I cannot wait to see this new book that focuses on the NES, because it's a joy for old school Nintendo game players like myself. So Brett, I cannot wait for the second book to come out because I have a little hand in that. And thank you again for asking me to be a part of it. I'm just very honored and overjoyed to throw a couple anecdotes into your book. So thank you again, and thanks to all the fans out there.